All right. Welcome to another festive episode.
Yes,
That's right.
as you can see by all of the holiday decor we have. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah. It is an amazing day. I love Christmas.
It's a wonderful time of the year.
Christmas. I love the holidays in general. Yeah, just getting to be with your loved ones and getting to have fun and do festive things. And
yeah, speaking of festive things, we got our tea for today. Welcome to Tea Stop Tea Time.
Tea Talk.
Tea Talk, sorry.
Yeah. I know it could be Italian, but talk is better.
Talk is better,
Yes.
right. So today I've got green tea. This has cinnamon, peppermint, and licorice.
Oh, nice.
Really good.
Yes. And I'm working with organic lemongrass herbal tea with cinnamon, ginger, garcinia, hibiscus, and lemon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it sounds really good.
Oh, yes. It is very, very good.
So today we're actually going to be talking about Sony. We're going to start with their, I guess you might say, entry cinema line. So I'll give you kind of a quick sort of truncated story of how I got into the Sony lineup. A few years back, I was in the market for a new camera, and I was looking at getting the Ariel F. The problem with Arri is that they are not really good at telling you when the camera is actually going to come out, and I was on a little bit of a deadline.
Oh, yeah.
So I started looking at other options, and I came across this thing that Sony had created called the Venice. Long story short, bought the camera and have never looked back. I am much happier that I bought the Sony Venice than I would have had I bought an Arri camera. I know that might be sacrilegious for some people.
Yeah.
but
I say, why so? Why do you think that?
At the time, especially the ergonomics and the technology that went into the Sony Venice was just much better than the offering that Arri had. And it's turned out to be kind of a runaway hit for Sony as well, because one of the first shows that my camera went on was a HBO documentary, but just about every streaming show out there has been using the Sony Venice. It's gone on to do IMAX films like Top Gun. The fact that you can remove the sensor block and use it as a small form camera has admittedly they're not the first camera to do actually they were the first camera to do that. Arri tried it with the Arri M. It was a complete disaster.
Oh
yeah. You remember.
Yes, I remember.
But the Sony F950 was the first camera to be able to do that, but that was an interesting experiment that didn't last too long in Sony's lineup. They went directly from that to, I think, the F65, which was their first that was a beast.
That was a
camera.
beast of a camera, yes.
And I believe has the record for most expensive motion picture camera ever made.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I believe it.
maybe it doesn't have the record, but it certainly was up there.
Up there, yeah.
Which is why nobody bought it.
Yeah.
I think it was on like $250,000 just for the camera. It was ridiculous.
Body?
Just for the body. And to be fair, the cameras at the time were pretty expensive. The F900, which was its predecessor, or the first digital cinema camera, was the F900, and that cost $100,000 just for the body. So we've come a long way.
Yeah, a long way. Okay, yeah. So from all the way up there to all the way down to the to the opposite end of the spectrum with what we have here on the table, the FX3 and the FX6.
Right, and these are absolutely fantastic cameras. Most of you may have heard the FX3 was used in the major motion picture The Creator, which I believe had about an $80 million budget. So these cameras are quite capable of making major motion pictures. Now, I personally would not have chosen the FX3 to make
we have an episode on
talking
the Creator,
just about that,
about The Creator and the FX3. So make sure you check that out. But
what I do think the Sony FX3, and I'm going to start with that one. We're going to talk about the FX6, which is a absolutely fantastic camera. The FX3 is a surprising camera because of how capable it is. Now, when it originally came out, of course, people were just like, oh, this is just a rehoused A7S III. Why would I want to spend extra money? But aside from the firmware updates, the ergonomics of a camera play a crucial role in why you'd want to choose one camera over another. In fact, one of the big reasons why I chose the Sony Venice was because of the ergonomics. It was so easy to use. It had an operator side, it had an AC side. It's like they thought of everything that we needed on a set. The FX3 thought about, the people that are going to be using this camera. And it was YouTubers, bloggers, independent filmmakers that, were either first-time filmmakers or someone, or like in my case, I needed something that would match with the Venice. And I've actually used this in conjunction with some of the Arri cameras as well. That
as just like a B cam, or
as
like
a B camera, where we could get this camera in places where we just couldn't get the larger cameras.
And it still gives you the same quality.
The same quality.
The larger cameras.
So what we're here to talk about in this episode is some ways you can kit out this this camera, and I've got some kind of neat little accessories here, and I'm a huge fan of keeping things simple. I don't want to overbuild the camera. There are YouTubers out there that'll be like, "Oh, check out this cinema build from," But no, I don't. I'm not going for that. It's like if you want a full cinema build, get a larger camera. I like keeping things small as possible because the more stuff you put on it, the more difficult it is to troubleshoot, and it just gets bulky and stuff.
Yeah,
so
definitely
anyway,
bulky. Yeah.
you can pass me the FX3. We'll start with this.
There we go.
All right. So here's one of the things I absolutely love about this camera. This is one of the few cameras that you can actually record 4 tracks of onboard audio, and this build, as simple as it is set up to record 3 tracks of audio.
Okay.
Yeah. So what we have here is my Rode Wireless Go 2, which brings in 2 microphones going into the 1/8" jack. And then I've got my old reliable Sennheiser microphone plugged into one of the XLR connectors.
Okay.
And so we've got 3 mics going into a mirrorless camera. And this handle comes with the FX3.
Not an extra add-on.
It's not an extra add-on. In fact, the only add-on that I have on this camera is the small rig half cage. And I have to emphasize half cage because, again, I don't want a full cage. The whole point of this camera is to keep it small. So I've still got full access to my buttons and stuff because, again, there's no cage on this side. It's just on this side. And I've even added one other little accessory. This is from Bright Tangerine. It allows me to turn these quarter 20s into 1 3/8 with the Arri locking pins.
Nice.
Becomes so useful.
Yeah, I can see like having a handle or something.
Exactly.
Like
you can put a handle on here.
Exactly,
I've put my small HD up here, and because it's got the Arri locking pins, it's locked in there.
Tight, yeah.
So
nice.
Great little accessory. I've even used a setup similar to this. I usually don't have the Sennheiser on here where I needed to record. I'll take the handle off actually and put this thing over here where the hot shoe is. And that allows me to record 2 microphones and have this camera on a gimbal.
Oh, so you're saying the audio portion on the handle is actually detachable from the handle?
Right.
That's
so
nice.
You do have onboard audio. There are built-in mics on here, but you also have another audio port on the side. So if you remove the handle, you still have audio connections.
Nice.
So again, they really thought about the ergonomics of this camera. It's also got a fan in here, so if you're in a hot weather situation where you're going to be doing a lot of long recording, the camera's not going to overheat. Right, exactly.
Fan and heat sinks and all that is nice.
And the preamps on here are probably what surprises me the most. This is the RE20 from Electro Voice, and it requires a lot of amplification. And this little guy can handle it. So I've plugged this microphone directly in here and just shot my own social media videos without any other processing, just right into the camera.
Nice.
That's impressive.
For being such a small form factor, that is impressive. That
it is.
Drive something.
This professional. Yeah, exactly.
That is nice.
I can't say enough good things about it. I've also got here. I'll hand you this camera back.
I should take a look at it.
Yeah. So what I have on there is one of the Zeiss lenses, and I really love those lenses. they're very sharp, and because Sony E-mount is becoming so popular now, there is a endless array of lenses you can get for it, and we can go into a rabbit hole about that. But
Oh yeah.
I will tell you that one of the things that we can do, and because of the types of productions I do, I very often work with PL mount lenses. So this adapter is from Vocus, and it is a E mount to PL mount, and this is what would normally go on there when I'm trying to match it up with some of the bigger cameras. So if I want to use that like crazy and I've done this, I've put a Hawk anamorphic lens on that camera, and that lens,
my God.
you could probably buy like 10 of these cameras for the price of that lens.
Oh, man.
But yeah, just a simple adapter like this will go right on there. And
Nice.
You can,
Nice.
You can put those giant lenses on there. And the reason that we were doing that was not because we were trying to do something like the Creator. What happened was we needed a really small camera, and we were shooting with Arri cameras. It needed to go inside a car window and go through the car and then out the other side.
Oh yeah.
And the FX3 was a perfect camera to do that. We just needed to put that Hawk lens on there.
Nice.
And it worked.
Nice.
It works. The FX6
Oh yeah.
was a great. It basically, Sony knew the capabilities of that sensor that's in the A7S III and the FX3. And they knew that people that wanted to take their production kind of to the next level needed a camera with some more I/O and again a change in the ergonomics. But they love the picture quality. They love that dual ISO. I mean, 12,800 as a low base ISO.
Yeah.
That's just bonkers. That's completely insane.
Exactly. Yeah.
So the FX6, in my opinion, is one of the most capable cameras on the market. I don't think there's another camera that really comes close to what this camera can do. It's got your BNC SDI out and timecode input and output. It does allow for remote control triggering, and it's got a multi-port as well. You can get this.
Show people what you're talking about.
Yeah.